very much for coming to see us, Mordy. It's been an absolute privilege. As I said to you earlier, I've been chatting to you in the group, and I feel like I've known you for years. It's we've had quite a lot of communication between ourselves, and you've been a
social medias. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm way better in the on internet than in the real life, you know. So
I understand that, and
writing is
yeah.
way better to me.
Yeah, and what we'll do is when we're going to talk about the autism and talk about how it's some of the common traits for autism, and also how it affects you as a professional musician, because you're communicating with people. So we're going to talk through that. So, but first, we'd like to get to know a bit about you and why you actually picked up the guitar, because you're an absolute phenomenal guitarist. Where did it all start from? Where were your influences as a youngster?
Everything started when I was 10. I discovered Van Halen on Beat It, you know, this monstrous guitar solo, and on the same instant I heard it, I thought to myself, I want to be a guitarist. As you know, autistic are really straight to the hand and really obsessive, and so do I. So from that moment, I only heard Van Halen, the 5150. I didn't want to hear anything else, and it was my obsession. Until I grabbed guitar and stopped playing, I just wanted to play Van Halen stuff. No way, you know, all the shit, the Stairway to Heaven, or chords, and no way. Van Halen.
He was such a guitarist, wasn't he? And so sorry to see him go, but it was so nice to see the community come together in celebration of what he did, and him as a man.
Unbelievable to see this respect for the guy, and you know, I went through a hard time with him passing away. It was really hard to me. I don't know if you have seen my video today. I dedicated a full video to Van Halen and my love to Van Halen, and how he changed my life as an autistic boy and as a guitar player. And filming this, editing this, and uploading this was really, really touchy, really hard to me. You know, it was way more than a guitar player to me. He was a family member. He has built my identity. So
yeah, I understand that. It's these people. I mean, for me, the person that made me pick up guitar was Eric Clapton, and you invest so many emotions into these idols. So I understand. Yeah, I mean, I dread the day that Eric goes, because he's been such a big part of my life. You know, so yeah, I fully understand that. So have your influences is it always been just Van Halen, or have you got other influences at all? Or
I was mainly obsessed with Van Halen, you know, but I didn't want to play anything else. But I realized that there was already one Eddie Van Halen. So I didn't want to be a bad copy of him. And I began to search for my own voice. And I discovered Steve Lukather is my man, Nuno Betancourt, Wes Montgomery.
Wow!
I learned jazz as you know, as Andy Timmons, and The Edge.
Wow!
The Edge is wow.
Yeah.
You know, if I learned something with the Edge is play less, play the good notes, less as possible. And I have this, you know, if you are listening to my music, you can hear some passage, some stuff that really coming from this place, this quiet place and musical place, The Edge.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and the thing is, because he uses so many effects, And it's like using delays. If you're using certain types of delays and long delays, you have to play it a certain way.
An amazing right hand, amazing.
Yeah, it's if you play too fast with certain delays, the notes trip over each other, and you've just got to play right, haven't you, for the type of delay that you're playing. And Edge does that perfectly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
About my influences, so I told you what it is about. But becoming a professional guitarist, I tried more to sound like myself rather than someone else. So I am not anymore, I'm still influenced by my early listening, but right now I'm not searching for being influenced or taking leaks or trying to be someone else. Many years I'm trying simply to be myself, and this is the reason why people are hiring me as a guitar player. If I was, a copy of someone, I wouldn't have worked at all. Being myself helped me to be myself and to work.
Absolutely. And do you think we'll ever have another Eddie Van Halen again, or is he a one-off?
We have huge fans of Van Halen, not too much know how to play, but Phil Hicks is an incredible Van Halen fan and player with all the subtleties. And there is a Canadian called Jacob the Raps. He is the biggest fan of Van Halen ever, and his playing is so close. It's unbelievable.
Wow. So what is it in particular that you like about that playing style? I mean, you mentioned Wes Montgomery and Eddie Van Halen. The two are very, very different. So what do you kind of take and like out of each of those styles?
Everything. It's all about music, being a part of a song, being musical as possible, being yourself as possible in all this musical space. And you can learn it from, from Spanish music till Arabic music. I come from Arabic music, everything.
You market yourself as the autistic guitarist. And I was very interested in reading on your Facebook page the other day about that I didn't realize you were a doctor.
Yeah.
So I've written some notes here. You're a doctor, you're an author, you're a lecturer, professional guitarist. Where do you find time to play the guitar? And you're a father. Where do you find time to play the guitar?
I will tell you. First of all, I don't sleep. Almost don't sleep. I am very obsessive only with my things, music and science. And there is no small talk. There is no friends. There is no family. Just my wife, my sons, and that's it. I go to the essential. I don't watch TV. I do things I really like. I don't waste my time with small things, for the good and for the bad, but each minute of my day is really used for improve my skills as a scientist, as a guitar player. This is my way, but it's not a good way. This is mine. I am autistic. I have no social life. I have no family life. Beside just my wife and my son, as I told. So there is a price to it. Being a doctor, being a working guitar player, both of them at the same level. Yeah, there is a price for it.
So when were you first diagnosed as being autistic?
I was diagnosed when I was 18. First, I was diagnosed as PTSD. I grew up in a really uncool family. As a consequence of this care, I have a PTSD. So the PTSD hide my autism. I was always known as weird and not communicating and things like this. You know, the lonely boy when I was 18, I went to the psychiater. This is the way to pronounce it.
Psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Thank you. And my 5 languages are killing me. And I was there, and he told me after a while, you know, I think you are an autistic Asperger. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to hear from it. I was in France as Algerian, Jewish, Arabic, weird. So it was too much for me, and PTSD. And I didn't want this title. So it took me years to accept myself, to accept the fact that I am an autistic. I went to a lot of crises because of me not accepting myself. You know, if you don't accept yourself, you can't ask people to accept you. You don't do it by yourself, so how could you do it? And a few years ago, I went through a really, really hard time, really hard crisis. And from this moment, I decided to go to the psychologist and to take care of me. And I began a journey of self-acceptance. And here I am, Mordi, autistic.
Yeah, well, we've chatted, messaged each other about being on the spectrum. As you know, it's suspected I might be on the spectrum. And since then, I've researched and I've looked into it and some of the traits. And as you were talking there and then earlier on, and you mentioned some of the traits like obsessiveness, that's me. I have that one of those traits. I mean, if you wouldn't mind talking about some of the traits, and because there may be people in the group who are, because there's a lot of people who go through life and don't get diagnosed until later on in life. So what are some of the traits, if you don't mind, Mordy?
You can be in some of the traits, but not being an autistic. Okay, to be diagnosed as an autistic, you have to get all the traits together. First of all, issues with communication, issues with social skills, understanding social dynamics, for example. Obsessiveness, we talk about it. You know, you have also the sensorial specificity.
Very goal orientated, and I think that links into being obsessive as well. Eye contact.
Yeah. Also a repetitive behavior. You know, a part also the last traits. So you have to get all these presence to be a part of the club.
Yeah, and you mentioned communication there. I mean, you're communicating, or one of the skills that we have to do as musicians, and you particularly as a professional musician, you have to talk to managers, you have to talk to venues. Or how does that challenge you being autistic?
You know, as a guitar player, when I started to play, first of all, you have to know that I loved music so much that because of music, I began to communicate with people, just to play with them. They didn't interest me. It's not so nice to say, but as persons, they didn't interest me. I wanted them to play with me. And you know, when you are in a rehearsal, or where there's this sitting, bonding, smoking with time, and at this time I wasn't with the dudes, with my mates. I was alone in the room, and I was practicing, and as waiting for their break to end. Bonding was really important to them. Be a part, be friends, and I didn't care about it. I know it's not good for me and for the other, but you know, and I didn't force myself. I didn't make any thing to be a part of this. I wanted to be on stage or on the recording, and that's it. So I had so many issues and crises with people that I learned to be kind, to ask how you doing, and to listen to the answer. But I wasn't there. It was a really long journey until I understood this, and until now, I still have my facts and issues. It's challenging, me and the people around me.
Well, I think, Mordy, if you're autistic or not, I think self-development is a continual thing, isn't it? It happens, it goes through your life anyway. So for sure. And you've got a book as well. You've written a book about autism. How's that going for you? Autism, falafel. Sorry, I'll put my teeth back in. Autism, falafel, and rock and roll. Where did that title come from?
The title, it's me, autism, because I am autistic. Falafel, the Hebrew version is couscous, but I learned that English speakers know more falafel than couscous. So the title became falafel and couscous. So I'm Israeli, so falafel, but couscous. This is because of me being an Algerian, and rock and roll because I am a guitar player,
And how's the book doing for you? Did you enjoy writing it?
Yeah, that it is my second book, but it is the first that came out. The book is about self-acceptance. Most of my life I haven't accepted myself as an autistic, but I also not accepted me as a Jewish, as an Arab, because I am also an Arab, Algerian, French, Israeli, too many titles for me. I thought I had to choose between all those things, being a Jewish or an Arab, being a PhD or being a guitarist. And this book is about me dealing with all those things and telling to people it is how to do it. So the book is not about autism, is not about falafel, and not about rock and roll, but self-acceptance. And I invite the people to my atypical world. The book is one part my life, and the other part after that always a scientific part. Why? Because I am not good with feelings, and my way to deal with feelings is to go to science, to find a scientific explanation to each thing. But for my book, I wanted to make it a part, not to make the reader confused. So the book is weird, as am I, and about self-acceptance.
Well, would you agree that maybe autism, it's very difficult to understand feelings because facts and figures and factual information is a lot easier to understand, isn't it? There's no gray area.
Yeah, autistics are not psychopathic. They have a huge amount of feelings, but their brain can deal with it. This is the issue. So you have like a cat, you can deal with it. So my way to deal with feelings is to explain things, things with science. This is my world, or music.
Yeah, absolutely. And so onto music. You're endorsed by T-Rex and PRS Guitars. Is that correct? When did that all happen?
Yeah, I was endorsed by more companies, but I was supposed to be endorsed by more also. I want to fit the company I work with. I wanted to fit my needs, to fit my tastes, and the relationship with the companies also really important to me. But I was also I worked with EC pedals, but there is no EC pedals anymore. It's not because of me. And how it went, it was quite simply. People and resellers that knew me as a professional guitar player recommended me to the companies. So they wrote to me, and we did it.
Excellent. And so when did you start taking an interest in guitar effects? Did that come from listening to Eddie Van Halen?
Yeah, you know, from the beginning, I got interested in effects. But because of me loving Van Halen and Lukather, I didn't deal with a lot of pedals. I used to push the amp, to use the channels of the amps, and to use the effect loops with a rack delay or chorus, like the G-Force of TC Electronics and things like this. And later, I get interested in pedals to cook my own thing, and because of me being obsessive, loving pedals is quite fun. You can always through it, buy it, change it. It's a huge fun.
Yeah, I recognize that. It was 2 years ago I became obsessive with pedals, and I just slowly just amassed very quickly this huge pedal board, lots and lots of pedals, and it happened so quickly, and I was just so focused on it. And there's other things that have happened in my life as well where I've been very obsessive about certain things, and so yeah, I recognize that trait. So I mean, what sort of guitar effects do you like? What are your favorite ones to use?
Everything, but from the beginning, because of me loving the age and Lukather, I use a lot of delay. It's a part of my playing. I really like it. If you have ever heard my music, I have some songs that really influence with this quarter notes and dotted and thing like this, and this feeling. I really like it. For soloing, I really like a ping pong delay. I play stereo all the time, or with two amps, or with the amp and a small pedal emulating amp, so I can play stereo all the time. The delay is my main effect. I use sometimes a chorus, but we are not anymore in the 80s, so
do you like to use chorus on what types of guitar sounds? Because very often I'll use it in overdrive sounds to really thicken up, and I think chorus sounds great with overdriven or pushed valves and that sort of sound.
Yeah, it's so Steve Lukather, the overdrive sound with chorus. It's so 80s. I really like it.
I do. Yeah.
So sometimes in the pros I work in, I try to push the chorus in the sound. Not always blessed, but.
Brian May was very good at that as well. He had a cracking sound with like a driven box and some chorus and stuff. It was just a great sound, just really, really nice. So how do you use effects in the studio and when you're recording? Do you use your own effects?
It depends on the song and on the production. If it's my own production, my live set is what I use for recording. With the years, I use the distortion pedals, but with less and less gain. Gain is not good for the mixes. So my delay, but everything post-production, I'm recording everything dry, and all the weights comes after. And in the production, as a session musician, I do what they want me to do. I'm like a prostitute. I want my money. Whatever you want, I will do. So I have all my effects, my event time, my big board. I will give you for the listeners, for the viewers, pictures of my gear.
Yeah, please do.
A huge pedal board, and you can choose whatever you want. This is my philosophy.
Well, I wonder if you'd mind talking us through some of the gear that you've got back there, because I'm seeing some fantastic pieces of equipment. I can see the two rocks there, and
they are the two rocks.
The aux attenuator, and you've got a nice Gibson there.
Yeah, this is my this is my baby, the real one. I always love the Les Paul, but it wasn't user-friendly for me. I have a small hands, and it was heavy, and the neck wasn't comfortable to me. So I decided I buy a really good Gibson, a good one. This is a R8, Alpine 2012 R8, and I brought this baby to a really big luthier in Israel, Macmal, and I told him I want a new neck. I want you to profile my neck. I want new pickups. I want a Bixby. I want you to change the color. This is a really customized Les Paul, and this is a dream.
It looks an absolute beaut, I have to say. I love the Bixby on it.
This is my sound. The sound I've been searching for all my life, and it's incredible. I love this guitar.
So how?
I have also this Nash. Nash is a really good manufacturer. I asked him to. It was made to my hand. I wanted this color, this pickup setting, everything. This is also a baby. I'm a huge funk lover, so I wanted a good guitar for this stuff. I have also my PRS, but this is in the other.
And is that Telecaster? I mean, it's relict. Is that naturally relict, or did you have it done in the workshop?
I've been asked as my Les Paul. I ask you to be a relic. I love this look.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Looks really nice. And you've got a nice 2-rock amp there, and
yeah,
an aux attenuator.
Studio signature with the aux on it, because you can play it's huge amount of sound, and I really like to push the amp to get a good breakup, and so I use the aux for this, sometimes for recording also. But I have the chance to have my own big room in my house, so I can push the amps as I want. I don't have to record in a lower volume. There we have a Tone King Imperial 2.
Yep.
With an attenuator on it. Amazing amp also. So they give me what I need. I love to play stereos, different colors.
Yep.
The 2-box is an amazing pedal platform. You really hear your guitar, and you hear each little thing that is in the characteristic of your pedals. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Great amp.
Well, you said earlier on about that you don't use a lot of gain, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? When I first started out as playing the guitar and stuff, the thing was I used to use a lot of gain on the guitar, and then I think it takes a while before you actually realize turn the gain down and turn the.
If you have an accurate right hand, you don't need too much distortion. With the years, I saw it. If you are listening to Paul Gilbert, early Paul Gilbert, he's playing hard rock, but there is no gain there. Everything is the here.
Yeah.
And if you are really straight, if you are really accurate with your rhythm, you don't need too much gain. Power and big sound don't come with high gain. I don't believe in it.
I agree. So what effects manufacturers do you admire today? Which sort of pedals are you looking at and you're really loving?
I love everything. We are living in a period, an incredible period. When I started playing music, there was nothing. You have the Dode and Boss and all this stuff, and that's it. It was cool. You had to do your best with what you got. And now each player, instead of playing and training and are changing the effects and thinking that there will be great players with another pedal. it doesn't work like this. And sometimes I act like this too. I really love the stuff of Origin Effect for being really organic. I have the Revival Drive, the Revival Trem, and also the Cali 76.
76, yeah. How's the Revival Drive? I mean, it looks an awesome piece of kit.
It is amazing. You know, recording with it or playing live with it, it's amazing. You have so much texture, and it crosses the mix so good. You don't have to push the volume, you know. You find the good frequencies. It's amazing. So I really like the Origin Effect stuff. And I really like Empress for being really musical. I'm preparing my next review. They asked me, Empress asked me to make a review on the reverb. So they sent me this one. But I bought the effects. I really, years I'm using Empress. They're really good. Strymons, it's, you know, I have the Volante, I have the Blue Sky, I have the Iridium, you know, as second amp. When I can come with my second amp on Prods, I take my Iridium, so is my second amp for the stereo. It works amazing. This is insane. So I really like Strymons. They are so professional, so user-friendly for a professional musician. On stage and in studio, it's amazing. 2 years ago, I discovered LPD, Lawrence Petrus design, boutique pedals. He makes overdrive 70s, 80s, 60s touch. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Today, I have to record some guitars. I use some old distortions, and it didn't sound to me. So I took my 74 from LPD. Whoa, this difference, it's good. So I really like it.
And what do you use for power? I mean, you mentioned Strymon there. When I was looking at power, and I searched quite a lot of, and I got the Strymon, Zuma, and Ojai.
I use two. On one of my boards, I have the Strymon Zuma. I guess this is it. Yeah, the Zuma. And on the other board, the small one, I use the Ciox D7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, really silent, good stuff. I wanted to tell you that this year, I wasn't a huge fan of Chess Bliss. But this year they blew my mind with the MK2. It's a huge pedal there.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
This is a game changer. With one pedal, you get all the colors, all the textures. It's really user-friendly. You can set presets. You can use MIDI. It's killing, absolutely killing. And really important to me to say that I'm really old user of eventide effects. I have the H9, you know.
Excellent.
Excellent. Being a recording session without the H9 is like being, you know, with a suicidal tendencies. The H9 is unbelievable. It can solve all your problems.
And what are you using wah? Do you use much wah?
Yeah. I have a wah. I have this wah, the Ghoul from T-Rex. You know, I am endorsed by T-Rex, and I get it from the company. Really kind. They gave me a bunch of pedals. I had to make reviews, but you know, and man, they are doing well. Very good products. I really love this wah.
Looks fantastic.
And it sounds fantastic. I use a lot their overdrive, the Alberta 2. If you know, the Mad Erne also is also an amazing pedal. And their replica, the delay replica, is one of the best I've ever heard. Really good one.
Very nice. And fuzz, what are you using fuzz-wise? Do you use much fuzz?
I will tell you, I hate fuzz, hate, but thanks to Chess Bliss and the MK2, I finally found a good fuzz sound. The fuzz on the MK2 is blowing me away. A really good one, and I started to record fuzz. So after 25 years being a session musician, at last I'm using fuzz and recording fuzz.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I do like fuzz as long as it's the amps nice and loud, and you know you can use the volume pot on the guitar to change things and get clean sounds. I like that. Okay, so what's next for Mordy? Because that, I mean, is there any time for do anything else? You've got lots on your plate with being a doctor and scientist and a father and everything else, and a husband and stuff. So what have you got planned?
I have no plan, you know. Being an autistic, I have to deal with my with what I have. Sometimes I'm really good and really focused, and everything is running okay. And the day after, I have issues with my senses, or issues with communicate. So I can't go and cheer, or I can go and perform or record. So I learned not to plan too much. So the next step for me is to maintain this situation. Besides the COVID period, I work well. I do interesting things. I have my own stuff and materials. I'm recording for people. Maybe I could wish myself more internet presence with my new YouTube channel. Pretty new in this world. I'm trying to be more communicative and more social. I can be social in the real life because of my senses, or because of my stress, because of my of me being so afraid of speaking to people or meeting people. Internet is really good to me, so I make a huge effort to be there and to communicate and to be kind, and I do my best. And it's phenomenal, you know. My YouTube channel is pretty new. After a few weeks, some serious companies wrote to me and asked me to do some reviews. It brought me some recording session. So amazing. I wish it will continue. I wish I will meet the viewers' needs and expectations. I not really know how to do it, and how to communicate with them, how to promote myself as a YouTuber, you know. But this is my wish, I guess.
Well, you're doing very well at it. You're very well known. I was listening to a podcast last week, and somebody mentioned you. So your name's getting out there. You're a talented guy, and it's time, isn't it? You know, it will happen for sure. That I have no doubt of. So what sort of songs are you listening to at the minute? What's the last 5 records you listened to?
Okay, so I've heard 2 years ago about a guy from Nashville, I guess, Marcus King. Is killer. He's playing like a god. He's singing like a god. Amazing guy. Marcus King Band. He is a guy. Blues. Rough blues.
He is good. Yeah, he's superb.
He is amazing. And last I heard Joe Bonamassa Redemption last time. The Joshua Tree, the YouTube Joshua Tree. I have to hear it each week, each 2 week. This is a masterpiece. It's unbelievable. I can listen to it and cry. They were touched by God when they recorded this. And the last thing I heard this week was Fair Warning. for me, the best Van Halen album ever. Thanks to that pedal show, you probably know those guys. I discovered two artists. One is Joey Landreth. His album Insight is amazing. His singing is absolutely amazing. I really like his playing. He's a really good songwriter. And I've also discovered Ariel Posen.
Oh yes, yes, yeah.
I didn't know, but they are friends and they worked together.
He's a great slide player, isn't he?
Yeah, the stuff is quite similar, but anyway different. And Ariel is a really talented guy, really, and kind person. And there are a few person that I'm following in Instagram, and those person are incredible. And I want to tell you something. With me being more and more in the net, I discovered 2 years ago a phenomenal guitar player named Sean Tubbs. He has his own YouTube channel. This man is a killer.
Yes, I've seen him.
Amazing. He's amazing. He's a really, really kind person. I'm writing to him, as in he's answering to me, and you know, who am I? A really kind person, really encouraging person. Also, you know, he's always good words on my YouTube channels. You can see his comments, and what a kind person, but what a guitarist.
Yeah,
wow.
He is good. He is good. Do you play slide guitar yourself?
Sorry?
Do you play slide guitar yourself?
It happens, but by mistake. When I'm forced, I do record a slide. I have always a slide really close to me. I like it, but it's not my specialty as Joey Landreth or Ariel Posen. But I like it sometimes.
Yeah, that is a completely different skill, isn't it? As long as it takes you to learn to play the basics of guitar, it takes just as long to learn the basics of slide. It really is so. All right, Mordy, look, we've come to the end of the interview. Thank you so much for giving us your time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It really has. So I'll say goodbye, and goodbye from the UK, and I'll chat to you very soon, no doubt, on the forum or on Messenger or something like that. So
with pleasure, as usual.
See you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.